Manchester City have just lost to Leeds United in a very, very frustrating game of football. And I'm sorry, I just can't sit here and say what you want me to say. I know so many people are expecting me to sit here and rant about Manchester City and call Guardiola a fraud and call Sterling terrible and moan about the players and say Pep got it wrong. But I'm sorry, that's just not who I am. It's not what I can do. If you can't see the bigger picture, then what is the point in following this club? Today, Guardiola took a calculated gamble. Yes, it was a calculated gamble, but he's been making them for absolutely ages and we've been winning games. Of course, at one point it was not going to come off, but he made the right call today. It was a frustrating performance, but at the end of the day, we had 29 shots to their 2. They scored their only 2 shots on target. And we missed a whole bunch of sitters, unfortunately. That's just one of those days. And yes, it wasn't perfect, but it was probably necessary. And I'm sorry, we score one of those goals and we get away with it. No one remembers this game ever. It hurts, of course it hurts a little bit, but I can't sit here and complain about a team that didn't do loads and loads wrong, that didn't really do... I don't think it was the wrong decision to start that. I'm sorry it wasn't. You could turn around and say, why did we rest so many players? Why didn't we start De Bruyne? Why didn't we bring him on? Why didn't we play Foden? Why didn't we play Diaz? I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we just had a game against Dortmund, which was a physical battle. We're about to play Dortmund, and then after that, we've got Chelsea in an FA Cup semi-final. You look at all those 3 games and go, which ones do I need my best players for? I need them for Dortmund and Chelsea, because even though we want to beat Leeds, we do have a massive buffer in the Premier League, and we've only a few games left after that. We have to take calculated gambles, like we did against Fulham, and it worked. Like the change team against Leicester, and it worked. Every now and then it happens, but when it works, we don't complain. But we're complaining today because it didn't come off. Can't we just sit there and go, fucking hell, this team have won 27 out of 28 or whatever it was. I can't even remember. They deserve an off day. It's like, do you know what, like, be honest with yourself. Sat there watching this now. Do you have perfect days at work all the time or at school or whatever? I don't know. Of course you don't. Of course you have days where you make a mess, or I have days when I'm recording audio and I record it wrong and I go, what am I doing, Stephen? Wake up. But the point is, they are human. And today, I don't think we even played that badly. That's the frustrating thing. Certain players didn't play very well, I agree. But we still had loads of chances, and it just didn't come off today. But I can't sit here in good faith and call this players and call this manager, given everything we've been through over the past few months. We are literally miles ahead in the Premier League and probably going to win the league, almost definitely going to win the Premier League. We are literally leading in a Champions League quarter-final. We are in a semi-final, and we've got a final in a couple of weeks as well. Everything is very, 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 very good. And at this stage of the season, when you're in this many competitions, you do have to rest players. You do have to give players a little bit of time to recuperate, because they can't run for 4 games in a row at full intensity without risking an injury. And that is why we didn't play Kevin De Bruyne today. And that is why we made so many changes, because once again, we had a couple of injuries. Laporte, Aguero. Do you want more? No, I'm sorry, but I can't. We took a risk. It didn't work. But that is life. Will it ultimately matter? No, because we'll win the league and we won't remember it. And you won't really care either if we beat Dortmund. You'll forget about it then as well. So if you sat there moaning now, get a grip, man. Get a grip. You're entitled to feel shit because we lost, of course. And I'm not telling you wrong to criticise players. But don't make it any deeper than a bad day at the office, because that's all it was today. And that's what I'm saying. It bugs me that so many people are willing to sit here and like slag off players as if they haven't given their all for the past few months, as if they haven't been brilliant. And everyone's going, oh, it proves that Jesus and Sterling are shit or whatever. Like, I'm not sure if you missed it, but guess what? They aren't in our starting 11 at the moment. They literally didn't start in one of the biggest games of the season against Dortmund. They are bench players, but bench players are backup players. And when you rotate loads of players, the backup players play. And at the moment, Sterling and Jesus are that. So you've got what you wanted. They're not in the team. But then you're moaning when they're used to rest Foden and Mahrez and De Bruyne are the players that you want in the team. So what is it? Do you want them to play every single week and never get tired? Do you want them to not be backup players? Do you want Guardiola to never play them again? Like, isolate Sterling and Jesus, 2 genuinely top-class players. Even if they're out of form, they are still high-level players that would get into most teams in world football. I don't get what some people want. You want to have your cake and eat it. You want players to be fresh and fit, but also be rested, and also have perfect backup players that aren't... I don't get it. It drives me mad at times, because I feel like we lose our heads and we lose our rationality and we lose our perspective. Today wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. They didn't batter us. It was a freak game. Like, they had a few chances and they scored. It's annoying. They had 2 chances. We had loads of chances. We couldn't take ours. It was frustrating, of course. And yes, we weren't at our cohesive best. But guess what? We played Ake, who's not played any football since Boxing Day. Mendy, who's barely played any football. Ferran Torres, who's barely played any football. And we also brought in 2 relatively out of form, or kind of indifferent at the moment, forwards as well. And we had to play Zinchenko in midfield as well because Gundogan needed a rest alongside De Bruyne. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to be a bit disjointed. If anything, I thought it was less disjointed than I expected it to be. Yeah, there was a couple of weak moments defensively, but we still created chances. But unfortunately for Guardiola, it wasn't his fault today, in my opinion. Players who have played regularly at the highest level, the likes of Cancelo, the likes of Bernardo, Jesus and Sterling, who are regular high-level players, they had poor games. And I know we won't sit here and say it about Cancelo because he's a favourite, but we're not allowed to admit it. But Cancelo had a stinker today. So did Bernardo. They both had absolute stinkers. It's one of those days. Sometimes you have to make changes because you have to look at the bigger picture. City took that choice today and Guardiola took it. And Guardiola gets it right pretty much more than any of us will do. Guardiola is an elite level in his job. We aren't that. We can't claim to be that good at our jobs as he is. So he's allowed to make a mistake every now and then. So what I'm saying is get off their fucking backs because people are so overreacting to this and it's driving me mad. I know it's not everyone. I know it's just people who like shouting on Twitter, and I know I'm one of them in the other way, and we like the sound of our own voice and all that kind of stuff. But please have some perspective. Yes, we know Sterling and Jesus are frustrating, but that's why they started today, because they're not in the first team right now. Once again, Guardiola is playing players so he can play the other players in the big games. That's just how it is, and that's how it's got to be. And he was right to rest this many players today because it's necessary. And he'll say this afterwards, as he said it beforehand. And once again, if we take any of our chances today and have a slightly better game, we won that comfortably because we were the better team today. But Leeds made the most of their chances. That's how it is. Frustrating. It hurts briefly, but don't make it deeper than that. Please have some perspective. Please realise that sometimes you're going to have a bad game. And Leeds aren't a terrible side. I'm sorry, I know they had 10 men, but it was a weird moment. It was a weird game. And occasionally you will slip up like this. But I'm not going to sit here and complain. I just can't do it. I can't do it in good faith because I complain about the performance today, but I can't complain past the plan. The plan was right. The execution not perfect, but it was a freak day. 10 men made it very hard for us to try and score. I know it hurts when we then concede late on, but it's just one of those games where they have 2 chances, they score. But that is football. That is life. We get up, we sweep ourselves down, we go and try and beat Dortmund, which I'm sure we will do with rested players. It doesn't have to be any deeper than a bad day at the office. It doesn't have to be. Don't make it deeper than that. Sterling today was poor. I can't defend it. Sterling has lost his mojo big time, but I'm also old enough and long enough in the tooth to admit that Manchester City know Sterling's a good player. He's in poor form and he has to find it to get back in the first team. But guess what? He's not starting at the moment because he's not in the first team. So he's been treated fairly, is all I'm saying, by Guardiola. He's been treated fairly. Mahrez and Foden are ahead of him and he has to play his way back into the team. Today was a chance for him to do that. He didn't take it. That's not my problem. It's not your problem. It's Guardiola's problem in the team. And they will know it as well, by the way. They will know that they're out of form. They will know it, and Guardiola will know it. And I saw people as well slagging off Ferran Torres and get a grip, man. This is a kid who joined during a pandemic. He's 20 years old. He can't go visit his family. He's still learning Manchester, but through the fucking keyhole. He's looking at Manchester through behind closed doors and going, oh, that could be nice to live my life as a young person. He doesn't get to do that. He's had COVID. He barely plays any football. Yeah, he's not adapted yet, but that doesn't make him a bad player. It doesn't make him a bad player. It makes it tough. And maybe one day he won't be good enough for City. I don't know. But what I will is he's a very talented footballer who needs a little bit of patience. Ake as well. His first start in ages. Once again, he needs a bit of patience. I thought Stones did alright today, by the way. Stones got forward really well. I thought Cancelo had a poor game. I thought Ake was okay. And Mendy was, he was alright. Edison had a good game. Fernandinho I thought was kind of good, kind of decent. And maybe, by the way, we could have brought in Kevin De Bruyne a little bit earlier. Maybe, but Guardiola clearly decided today, I'm not going to play De Bruyne unless I absolutely have to. And by absolutely have to, I presume midfield injuries or something like that. He was there just in case, but he decided in the end it wasn't worth it. And I get it because it's understandable because we need him ready for other games. Perspective. We are still going to win the league. We are in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. We are leading in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We are in the final of the Carabao Cup. Today was a relative free swing, and it was. We had the buffer. We've got 2 more important games, and we had to rest players somewhere because otherwise they'll be tired. We chose today. It didn't come off, but that is life, and I can't sit here and complain more than that. You want me to, but I can't. It's not who I am. It's not fair on the players. Bad day at the office. They deserve our respect because they've been phenomenal over the past few months. Genuinely done things I have never seen before, winning that many games in a row and that many games out of 28 or 29, what it was. We'll be fine. Calm down. Life moves on. Bad day at the office. Back to work soon. We'll be okay. But now, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you to all my Patreon members. Ahmed Ali, my Patreon producer. You're all heroes. I'll catch you all very soon. Relax, breathe, like, comment, subscribe. Perspective in a bit.